Welcome, everyone, to the Vision Straight Masterclass series. Today, I'm super excited because I get to talk to one of my favorite people in the eye care industry, and that is none other than the extraordinary Dr. Adam Ramsey. How are you today, Doc?
I'm good, man. You giving the energy with the intro. Okay, I gotta match your energy now. You giving that kind of
Listen, man, you know what inspires me the most about you? Is because there's nothing average about you. Absolutely nothing average. It's as if you see average as a sin. The way I look at you, it's as if average is a sin. And I'm like, no, man, I need to connect with this. That's what drove me towards you a few years ago, was the fact that there's nothing average about what you do. So my question to you, before we even get to unpack who Dr. Adam Ramsey is, who is this legendary person that's on the masterclass episode today, I want to know, when did Dr. Adam Ramsey discover that I have got absolutely zero interest in being average? I want to know that question for myself long before we even get to introduce who you are.
I think, well, thank you, Obi, for that introduction, and that's what you see of me, and I appreciate that. I don't take that lightly. I was born in Trinidad and then moved to the United States. So as an immigrant, I looked at the opportunity to come to the US differently. So I would say that, my view on the world is I've been blessed with an opportunity that a lot of people did not get. And now, if hard work beats talent, if hard work outworks talent, right? So my thing is, I could not change where I was born. I could not change what I was born into or where I was, but I could affect my effort. I could affect what I put into it, right? Wow. So I said, I'm never going to be outworked. I was 10 years old and I had my mom get me some business cards, and it said Adam Ramsey, entrepreneur, and the slogan on the back was "Make it happen." At 10 years old, no excuses, figure it out, make it happen. And I think most people, you can't affect certain things about your life, but you can't affect your effort. You can't affect if you're going to be outworked. And once I'm not outworked, I sleep good at night. But if I ever felt like I was outworked, I was out hustled, then I can't sleep, because then I'm like, they got me. I got complacent. And, because I was an immigrant coming to the United States, my mom sacrificed a lot for me to come here, right? And everybody's like, well, you've gotten all these awards and you got the houses and the cars and all the other stuff. And I said, yeah, but my mama's still working. So if my mama's still working, how can I chill? Like, are you gonna just sleep in the bed? If your mama's still working, you could get all the awards and accolades and all the other stuff, but if she asks you for $100 and you can't give it to her, then you can't sleep. Yeah. So I've been hustling and grinding. My mama retired in January, so but I'm still not going, because she still might ask me for $1. So I'm still gonna be hustling, but that really pushed me, and when you get an opportunity, just never be outworked.
Man, wow. I never knew that about you. And we have been connected for some time. I never knew about that. But I'm sure that just by you mentioning what you've just mentioned, a lot of people are going to sit back and be like, I can relate with that. And they'll look at themselves internally and externally and realize that average should never be something that we accept for ourselves, for the people around us, and for the profession that we are in. And it reminds me about my mother. My mother was also working in Saudi Arabia for the last 19 years. I think I was in grade 11 or grade 10 when she moved to Saudi Arabia. And one of the things that she told me was, like, because she got awards when she was that side. And she said to me, when you come as a newbie in a new country, you have to operate higher than everyone else around you. And that is what she instilled in me, to do the things that I'm doing locally here. And she only retired in December, a month before your mom's. So we got good moms, man. We got good moms. But let's take it back a notch. when did your journey in eye care begin?
I graduated 10 years ago as an optometrist. So
That's
uh,
I don't believe you because
only 10
I
years ago.
don't believe you because the stuff that you do, the platforms that you are on says that you are a person who has been in the industry for at least 30 years.
No, I would say industry and people look for something different in somebody. And if they see that, they'll pluck you right out of where you are. But you have to exude that I belong in this space. And if you bring something unique or something different, a different perspective or a different frame of reference, you can go faster if you outwork the other ones,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
You can move at a different pace if your mind thinks at a different pace. See, my mind looks at situations and I'll see it differently, and I'll say, okay, I see what they're talking about over there, but what if we just turn that around and then we're operating differently? I said, I've been out 10 years, but the crazy thing is, you think for me, I've done a lot in 10 years, and I feel like I've been lazy. And that's the difference between my mind. My mind, I thought I was going to be where I'm at 10 years at year 3.
Wow.
When I had, because in my mind, as soon as I get my doctorate, ain't nothing holding me back. I'm about to go take off. And it took 10 years to get here. And that's the part about somebody with a hustler mentality or hustler mind. They think they can just do that part. But some of it does take the grind. Some of it does take the work. Some of it does take learning your own life lessons. I try to learn as much from other people as possible, because why live my own lesson if I can learn from somebody else? But the stuff that sticks with me the most are the lessons I learned myself. So I don't see anything I've done as a failure. I see stuff that I've done that maybe didn't work out as a life lesson, because once I don't repeat that mistake, it's not a negative, because I learned from it and I got better. Right now, if I repeat the same mistakes over and over and over, then you're not learning from the lesson. Then that's a failure to me. But if I'm learning from my mistakes and I'm a better person today than I was yesterday, then it's just a life lesson, and it's not a failure. It's just a new opportunity. So that's what. So you think I've done a lot in 10 years, and I feel like I've been lazy. So that's just different.
I got you, and it's a matter of that perspective, and I guess you hold yourself to a higher level than what people think you or assume of you, and that will always push you to that next level, and help you, I guess, to never rest on your laurels or past achievements, and let success get to your head. That's what I'm picking up from you, is that the people that are looking at you thinking that, wow, Dr. Ramsey has achieved so much, that's not what you are holding yourself to, that standard, because you are not responsible for the standard that we have created in our minds about you. And I love that, because then you're going to constantly operate within your element and push yourself within your dynamics. Absolutely love that. Now, question: 10 years is a short period of time, but it's at the same time, it's very long. You run top-notch, world-class optometric practice, state-of-the-art equipment, high-impact team, excellence is at the top of what you guys do. How soon after you graduated and you got into becoming an optometrist did you start your practice? And on top of that question would be, did you already have in mind the type of optometric practice you wanted to have, or did you know the type of optometrist you wanted to become? And how did that journey unfold from the time you left university?
Really good question. When somebody looks at me and sees success, you're judging it based upon what you think I'm going after. I don't live my life or do what I do for awards or for accolades or for the way other people view me. I am viewing my life as if I want to be able to wake up every day and do what I want to do. And if I have to do something I don't want to do, then that's not success to me, right? Success is being able to wake up and live the life the way you want to live it. I have a great practice. I do a lot of speaking. I speak for a lot of companies and brands, and I represent different things that I believe in. but I get to do what I want to do every day, and that's the success I go after. And to your point about when did I open my practice, I've always been an entrepreneur. So even when I worked for other people, I looked at it like I'm representing me that day, because every patient I encounter is the potential for when I did have my own practice that they would come and follow me. So I can't, I don't work to the standard of the place that I'm employed at. I work to my own standard. So that now when I did open my own practice 3 years after I graduated, those patients followed me wherever I went because they saw something different about the level of care that I delivered versus what they've gotten elsewhere. But I think sometimes people drop down their level of care, how they carry themselves based upon the establishment that they're working in. And I would say, don't ever let anybody diminish your light. Don't ever come down to the level of others. Bring others to your level and say, okay, we have to do better where we're at. You know, I never want somebody that's paying me. I always want to feel like you're not paying me enough. Right? If you feel like you're paying me too much or what I deserve, then I'm doing something wrong. I want the person that's paying me when I was working, he used to give me raises before I asked for it because he saw the work I was putting in and didn't even want me to think about going nowhere else. So he kept giving me a raise every 6 months. Oh, I'm giving you a raise. I'm giving you a raise because he saw the work I was putting in. I was still going to leave regardless, but he was still saw that because I was outworking what he was paying me.
Wow. It makes me then ask you a question then. In society, not even in society, in our industry, sometimes you get to realize that people that achieve a lot quickly, and I put that in inverted commas based on what you said earlier on, they tend to have an ego or a sense of entitlement to how they should be received, how they should be treated based on what they believe they have achieved. And they get to see themselves on a pedestal. But when I look at you and how you are so passionate about bringing everyone on the table and see as many people as possible to also win, your level of humility is on another level. It's like you don't have a sense of pride, but you're very proud of the things that you do, who you are as a person, as a man, as a believer, but you don't have a sense of, I'm Dr. Adam Ramsey, I'm the best in the business going around, even though you know it yourself deep down, but you don't carry that with you. How do you remain humble? How do you manage to do the things that you do and keep yourself in check at the same time? Because I don't think a lot of people are able to do that.
See, and that also goes against to your why, right? You always have to find out why somebody's doing something, right? I don't do the things I do for awards or accolades. I say that again.
Yeah.
So if I did it for the award or the accolade, then I might stick my chest out because I received what I was looking after. Right? Because what I was going for was an award or accolade or for you to talk about me in a certain light. So when I get to that, then I'm happy because that's what I wanted, right? But I never did it for that. You know, I do the things I do because that's what I believe in. That's what I care about. You know, are you a basketball guy?
I love it.
Okay, so I'll give you an example.
I wish I could turn the screen right now. I'm actually watching First Take right now. And,
okay, all right. So you can see that. So LeBron James, people say that he should be a better scorer. He should take over the game. But LeBron James would tell you, I'd rather pass the ball and see my friend score the bucket.
Absolutely.
And he's a better facilitator because he liked to see other people win around him. Even though LeBron James is still good at what he does, right? LeBron James is not saying he's a slouch. I ain't never said I was a slouch. But I also, it's no fun if I got to buy the meal for everybody all the time. I want to be able to go out with other people that can pick up the check. So if I can make my team win, then we all winning. If I got a Bentley, I want you to have a Bentley so we can have two Bentleys. I don't want to have you be a passenger in my car all the time. I don't mind sitting in the back seat and let you drive sometimes. You know, sometimes I don't want to drive the car all the time. So I like to be around other people that are winning and are successful, because that keeps my mind at that level. That keeps my mind at where I'm supposed to be. And I love to facilitate and help other people do better, because I feel like that's a better mental space for me. And I feel like I love seeing people live in their full authentic self. Whenever I see somebody diminishing their light or coming down to the level of others, I feel like you're doing a disservice to the world, because there's something inside of everybody that they're going to do and have an impact. Like when I see what you're doing in South Africa, the level of speakers that you're getting to come to South Africa, the companies that you're getting to come, the students you're being able to impact, the lives that you're being able to change by what you're doing. You see me as a winner, but I feel like you're doing more with less, and I'm not doing enough with the amount of resources I have. So that's why I say I feel lazy. Somebody like you are doing way more than me with less resources, less opportunity, having to work twice as hard to get half as much. And what you're able to do over there is the master class. I should be turned, the conversation should be turned around, because the people that you're interviewing over here, if you were able to sit in our chair, you would make me look terrible, because you would have, you look at me and say, he only doing this if I could have be over there and I had access and resources to go to all these people. What would I do? How would I change the world and go better? And that's why I say that immigrant hustler mentality is very different than somebody who is born here, and that is just the level. That's just what they expect out of themselves. When you got a chip on your shoulder, you work harder. When you got to get your mama out the hood, you work way harder than if your parents had money. They don't need you. And you know that you got a trust fund, or you know that you're going to be all right because your daddy gave you a car when you were 16. They gave you money to go to school. You don't work harder. But if you see your mama working 16-hour days, you can't sleep. So it's a different mentality that you got to have, and that some people have, and other people see you differently than you see yourself.
Wow. I love that. Then the follow-up question to that, I absolutely love that. The follow-up question to that then becomes, you and I, we black, my brother.
Yeah. And last time I checked, yeah.
Yeah, and the industry in America resembles that here in South Africa in terms of the dynamics at play with regards corporates, people in who are holding very senior decision-making roles in various institutions, organizations, and stuff like that. In your journey, in bringing your value to the table, making a difference, wanting to be part of the solution, in not sitting back and saying, you know what, these are the challenges and I'm not happy with this. At the point at which you then decide, I want to get involved, I want to change the narrative, I want to change the status quo, I want to challenge the status quo. What are some of the challenges that you encountered earlier on, and what did you do to overcome it so that the corporates can invite you, the corporates can pay you, the industry can recognize you, not because of your skin color, but because of your value add that you bring to the table? So what are some of the challenges that you had to overcome in your Eyecare journey? And what are some of the practical things that you did that changed certain things around for you?
So me and Daryl started Black Eyecare Perspective a few years ago. And, we sat down and we had a game plan. We said, okay, how are we going to affect and change the industry? And the question you just asked is critical, right? I could have asked to have a seat at their table, or do what I did, which was make my own table. And you got to ask me to have a seat at mine.
Preach.
And I think too often we try to grovel and beg to have a seat at somebody else's table that we were never invited to.
Preach.
Besides, or you can realize that I am enough already. The way I am right now, 10 toes down on the ground, is enough. And I know enough special, important excellent doctors and people around the globe that I can create a table that you're begging to have a seat at, instead of trying to squeeze or pull my chair up to your table and ask you to give me crumbs off of your table when I can have a feast on my own.
Love it.
And that's where my mindset was. And me and Daryl said, okay, we're going to create something so powerful that you want to come to us. So I have not called, solicited, reached out to anybody. And I can put this on camera and say, anybody who knows me knows, anybody who has worked with us, they came asking about us, saying, hey, I like what y'all are doing. How can I be involved with what you're doing? I think too often we try to go after people all the time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, create something so good that they reach out to you, that they want to be a part of what you got going on, because what you're selling is us. You're selling the movement. I'm selling myself to say, you know what? You guys are not letting enough Black people into that clubhouse. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to create our own clubhouse. And then after that, if I decide I want to come to your clubhouse, I'm going to get a warm introduction. I'm going to get a warm welcome. I'm going to get a nice seat at the table. And when I show up at the table, you're going to listen to what I have to say, because you're going to realize what I bring to the table, as opposed to the other way around. So, you know, we didn't really have issues like that because we looked at it differently and we went about our business differently.
That is so powerful. And I can relate exactly to that, because a similar thing happened here in South Africa. The journey with Vision Straight starting the book series was exactly that, where you realize that, wait a minute, I'm enough. We are enough. Create the platform, create that the infrastructure, and people will come. And that infrastructure just has to be excellent. And you are going to define what that excellence is. So I can relate to that. And what you've just said is going to be encouraging a young person right now with a dream, with a vision, to come and add value in the industry, and think that because of their background, their economic status, their circumstances, they might not be able to make it in the industry. But you are a proven case that you just have to do what you know best. Know the value, know what you bring to the table, and know what, not what you bring to the table, know the value that you have it within you, and let that come out, and everything else will fall into place. It seems like you've got a lot of stuff taking place. Black Eyecare perspective, your own practice, Socialite Vision, which was called something else before, and you changed the name, rebranding yourself within your practice, within your community. What were some of what was the reason behind that? When you decided, I'm going to rebrand myself within my community?
So that wasn't by choice.
Okay.
I was called Iconic Eyecare previously, and somebody else had the trademark on Iconic. And they exercised their right to say that I could not call my business Iconic Eyecare. Now, most people don't trademark your name, right? I would assume you didn't get your name trademarked. You may have gotten the LLC and whatever, and you start using it. It was creative and you start using it. But the trademark is very rare for a small guy like me to go and say, I'm going to trademark. And they forced me to change that. It's a big time industry. I'll leave their names out of this. But a big time company said I had to. And that was a year and a half after I opened my practice. I had to change everything, from the sign on the door, to the shirts, to the business cards, to the website, to the Facebook pages, to the insurances, getting re-credentialed under everything. So everything that I worked for the first year and a half, I had to start completely over a year and a half later. And then 6 months ago, my office got a flood.
I remember.
Due to the person that lived above us pulled on the sprinkler head, and the sprinklers flooded my office. And then now I go from rebranding to a new name, to my whole office flooding, having to change the ceilings, to the floors, to the walls, to every chair, table in my office had to get switched out. So I had a lot of challenges along the way, but that's a part of business, is a part of life. I learned from that, right? And good thing is I set things up appropriately, that I had insurance and stuff like that, because I put the infrastructure together, so that what the devil meant for harm, God turned around for my good. So now my business looks better than it did a year ago, and I didn't have to pay for it, because I was gonna remodel the office anyway. And then God found a way for me to be able to do it without paying $1 out of my pocket, right? And so there's, sometimes the enemy will try and push you down into the ground, but not realize you a seed, and all you did was plant me, and all you did was give me an opportunity to grow it into a tree. What somebody meant for, what the devil meant for harm, God gonna turn around for my good. So I've had a lot of obstacles in my life, but I've learned from them, and some of those I put into this book I wrote, Play Chess Not Checkers: Practical Guide to Warm Start Your Dream Optometric Practice. And this just teaches somebody how to open a practice, and I use some of the life lessons that I've learned along the way, and I said, why not write it down to maybe help somebody else, so that they don't have to live what I lived through? Because I didn't know that. I read every book that was on the market that was about eye care, and none of them prepared me enough for the things I've been through. Sure. So I said, let me write down my stuff, so maybe the next generation doesn't have to live, because they may not all know me personally, but if they can get a hold of the book for $10 and then be able to read and listen to or learn from those mistakes or those obstacles. Not even a mistake. It wasn't. Nobody has a name trademark. It's not popular.
Absolutely.
They can be better off than I was.
Where can people get the book?
Amazon.
Fantastic.
So you type in Adam Ramsey on Amazon.
I'll put the link of the book on it. Now, I wanted to ask you something based on what you've just said. With everything that's going on, practice, you've got a young family, you travel a lot for speaking engagements, you've got Black Eye Care Perspective, amongst other things. There's a lot that's taking place. We're living in a society right now where mental health has become a big problem for a lot of folks out there. How do you stay sane? How do you stay on top of your game and not feel like you're not okay? And if whenever you get to not be okay, how do you get to be okay?
Good question. And I'll circle back. So everything you're asking is kind of going all together.
It's a masterclass.
Remember when I said I wake up every day to do what I want to do, right? Nobody can request of me my time unless I want to give it, right? So you can ask me to come speak, but I have to determine for myself if it's the best thing for me. And the best position you could ever be in is when you can say no. When I first started, I said yes to everything because I didn't know if another door was ever going to open.
Absolutely.
And now I get to the point where I can actually start saying no. And I say no to more things than I say yes to, because I have to protect my sanity and I have to protect my peace. And the most important thing is family. Money can come and go. My practice can come and go. But I only got one wife and I only got one daughter. So at the end of the day, everything works around that. So I say no to stuff on Father's Day, no to stuff on Mother's Day, my wife's birthday, my daughter's birthday. Those are times that are sacred that I have to spend time with them. I actually only see patients 3 days a week. So I see patients 3 days a week, and then I have made admin time. So I'm talking to you on my admin day. You asked me about a month ago, and I said, hey, I can do it on this date at this time, because I have a schedule and I sit down and I plan my schedule and my life accordingly, so that I'm in my practice. I'm also doing speaking. I'm also doing recordings. I'm doing other things. So my day and week is a little bit different because it's not 100% in one area. There's a lot of variety in what I do, and it makes every day interesting and engaging. But at the end of the day, I'm in control of my own destiny, and I get to wake up and do what I want to do every day. And that's a blessing. But it took time. It wasn't like I just arrived and I was able to do that. You know, a lot of people may want to be in the position I'm in and say, oh, I would love to work 3 days a week. Well, I worked 6 and 7 days a week for 5 to 7 years before this to now work less, right? You got to work more to work less. You can't work less than work less. That's not it, you know? And I only see patients 3 days a week, but sometimes this is just as much work, if not more work, than seeing patients because you have to give of yourself. There's prep time. There's all that stuff associated with it. So the days that I'm home, it's an admin day, but I'm doing my payroll today. I'm going to be, I'm doing some different interviews. I'm writing some articles today. I'm doing other things that I need to fulfill my life on those days when I have a admin day. Either I do it in the office without seeing patients or I do it outside of the office, but you control your peace. And tomorrow, I'm going to Jamaica tomorrow for 4 days to relax because you're right. Your sanity and peace is important. So I can't be flying around the world for everybody else, but never take a flight for myself, right? Because in the last month, I've been on the plane maybe 6 times, right? For other people. So tomorrow I'm going on a plane for myself. So but that's what you have to do. You put in the work and I grind and I worked hard for the first 5 months of this year. And now I'm going to take 4 days to myself to recharge the battery. And the day I fly back, I give a talk in Orlando. I fly back to Fort Lauderdale. I drive straight from Fort Lauderdale, which is in South Florida, to Orlando near Disney World to do a talk, right? But I recharge my battery, fill up my cup, and then I can outpour that cup with what I've just filled it up with.
Wow. This page was empty when we started this master class.
You got some notes. Okay.
You literally you're giving school now. You're giving school, man.
You said a master class. You didn't say a elementary school class. You said it's supposed to be a master class.
I have to know the story about the hat before we go deeper in this conversation, man. Because you have to tell me about the hat, man. Because for as long as I've known you, the hat has been like a signature. There's just something about the hat and Dr. Adam Ramsey. How did that start?
The hat is a crazy thing. So I'm with Daryl at Vision Expo in Vegas, and we're at the conference, and we're trying to go home to the hotel. It's like 11 o'clock at night or something like that, and I can see the hotel from where the conference space was. So we were gonna get a cab, but I was like, "Hey, Daryl, I can see the hotel. Why don't we just walk there? Why am I gonna call a cab to go to a hotel that I can see? Like, let's just walk." So Daryl was like, "Oh, okay, fine. Well, what I forget is this hotel is so big that it looks closer than it actually is. It's just a huge hotel. So it actually was like 2 miles away, but I didn't, because it's so big, to me, it was closer than it was. And we literally walked next to a hat store, and it was like 11:30, and I'm like, "Nah, they're closed." And the lady's like, "No, we're open till 1 a.m. I guess in Vegas, they stay open late.
For sure.
And I go in there, and I was like, "Hey, I got a big head. You don't got no hats for me. Let me not waste my time." And the lady's like, "Oh, no, we got hats to fit you, man. We got hats to fit you." And she put this hat on my head, and I was like, "Hey, this is it." And the hat started becoming my little superpower. When it's time to go to work and it's time to get on and give the people what they want, I put the hat on, and it gives me a little boost of energy. I don't drink coffee or anything like that, so the hat is my little boost. When it's time to go to work, I put the hat on and I get to work pretty much.
Wow. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to the people that you bring in your circle in terms of professionally? What are the non-negotiables when it comes to your practice in terms of what you would not settle for? And what are the non-negotiables when it comes to family in terms of, basically in all those different categories of life? What are non-negotiables? What is it that you would not compromise? You have highlighted the aspect about you being in charge of your time and doing what you want to do. What is it besides that where you don't compromise at all?
I can start with my family. Family's first. So I set up my schedule that even if I lose money, but I lose money because I'm with my daughter or my wife, that's okay, because money's not my focus. Money's not my goal. Happiness is my goal. Now you need a certain amount of money so that the lights are on, you got a roof over your head, you got food in your stomach. But, you know, driving a Bentley would be nice, but it's not my goal. I want to be happy, right? Because I know a lot of rich people that are very unhappy. They need pills to go to sleep and pills to wake up and pills to stay awake. So my goal and what I seek is happiness. Hopefully I get a little bit of money along the way, but I seek happiness first and foremost. So my non-negotiable for my family is to be there and be present. You know, I grew up without a father in my life, so I refuse to do that for my daughter. My daughter's going to know who I am, and my daughter's going to know what's important and what I believe, and she's going to say that her father was present. You know, I've been at all her doctor's visits. I pick her up and drop her off to school. So I bathe her at night. You know, I read her a story before she goes to bed. So I do what I have to do to make sure I'm home before my daughter goes to sleep, because she knows if she don't see her daddy, then I'm probably working, and then I would probably FaceTime her or something like that so she can see me, because she'll be like, where's my daddy, before she go to bed. And my non-negotiables is not anything that's going to compromise my time, is not what I'm willing to sacrifice. I make sure I do that. You got a question?
No. Continue.
All right. For my circle and my friends, you have to be an asset, not a liability, for me to hang out with you, for me to be around you. You got to make my life better. I have to see something in you that I want to emulate, either business-wise, professionally, family-wise. So I have guys around me that may be older than me, smarter than me, better fathers than me, so that I can see things in them that I can emulate. Because remember, I said I grew up with a single mother.
Yeah.
So I never saw a father-son relationship. I never saw a husband and wife relationship. So I am trying to be a husband when I've never seen a good one.
Sure.
I am trying to be a father when I've never had a good one in my life.
Sure.
So I'm trying to emulate something that I don't really know or can put my finger on.
Sure.
So I keep people around me that are good fathers. I don't keep deadbeat dads around me. I keep people around me that are good husbands, because I need a positive role model of what a husband is supposed to be and do around me, so that I can live that out. So I keep a circle of people that are assets, not liabilities, that breathe life into me, that make me better, that make me want to do better. And I keep people around me that when I say I want to go to Jamaica, they've been working hard too for the last 6 months, and says, you know what? Let's go to Jamaica, because they work hard too. So when it's time to go to Jamaica, they are like, oh, I need a break too. But they work hard in the beginning, just as hard as I did. So when it's time to go to Jamaica, they got their passport ready. You know, I ain't got to ask them to go get a passport. They already got it.
You highlighted something so powerful, and you just reminded me of something that happened to me recently. I'm busy. A few weeks ago, I was migrating from a Android to a iPhone device, and I don't know what happened with my settings on WhatsApp, for example, and I started having disappearing messages, and I wasn't aware. And the guy that I trained with, a very close friend of mine, I sent him a message, and then that message, disappearing messages, popped up, and immediately his response was, "Hey, dude, since when do you and I have disappearing messages with one another? We don't have conversations that we have to keep away from our wives. We're not like that." And I appreciated that this guy held me accountable right there and there. And so it's important, like what you say, you need to keep people around you that hold you to a different level, and not people that are just going to be yes people, yes men, yes women around you. You actually need people that help elevate your game, elevate your standard, elevate everything that you do as a person, as a human being, so that you can be better in giving of yourself in everything that you do. So that was very powerful, very, very powerful. As we wrap this up, I want to know, working so closely with Daryl, everyone's favorite optometrist, man. From the outside, it could look like it's always agreements, you're always on the same page. So how do you guys, since this is a masterclass, how do you guys navigate disagreements where you have something that you see that needs to happen and he's got something completely different? Because we work together on Africa Media as well.
We don't agree on everything. No, let's stop it right now. We do not agree on everything. Daryl is very difficult to work with. He is not easy. He is very opinionated. He's very hard-headed. No, he's not. And I'm very opinionated. And I'm very hard-headed. And so we do not agree on everything. So let's put it there. But at the end of the day, when you work with somebody, we may disagree in private, but publicly, we're on one page. And at the end of the day, we're going to do things together. And he is good at certain areas and not good in others. And there are areas in which that I am better at than he is. So when you work with somebody, you have to make sure that your flaws and your areas that you're good at, they kind of match one another. Because if we were exactly the same, it probably would be even worse, because we will both want to be the lead in certain areas. But there are things that Daryl is good at that I'm not, and there are things that I'm good at that Daryl isn't. So after we disagree privately, and then we come to some agreement and say, okay, I may not agree, but this is your area of expertise, so I'm gonna let you take the lead. And then he lets me take the lead in another area. And then when we step out in front of the world, we on one page, we on one accord, and it works out because he was right. Sometimes I was right. But even when we make mistakes, we learn from it. So the next time we don't make the same mistake again. So that's where we go. But we do not agree all the time. Let's stop that right there.
Recently, the two of you were honored with a very, very prestigious achievement. Can you please, congratulations once again. But where's your medal? I thought you're going to be wearing. Come on.
No. I did wear it the next day, though. I did wear it the next day.
Yeah, but you said you're going to go everywhere. You're going to be wearing it all the time. Like,
well, remember I said I don't do it for awards, and I couldn't have this award on my neck and then be saying I don't do it for awards. That would be very pompous.
But what was the award for, if you don't mind sharing?
So we got the Presidential Medal from New England College of Optometry for the nonprofit work that we're doing, trying to diversify eye care, and the work we've done to get more minorities into the profession of eye care. And they saw the work that we've been putting in behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in the dark, and they wanted to give us an award in the light. And I think that's where people mess up at. They want to do everything in the light, but they don't want to do the work behind closed doors, right? They want to only do the work that gets recognized. No, you got to do the work privately when nobody's looking, when nobody's saying attaboy or good job and whatever. And after you put in the work, somebody else will look at you and say, you know what? I like what they're doing. I like where their head's at. I like where their mind is at. They deserve something to keep them going. But what I would tell you is that the other people getting awards that day, because there were about 6 people getting awards that day at that ceremony, we were the only people alive. Wow. Everybody else was getting an award after they passed away. Wow. And their son or daughter or the next person that's in that position was receiving the award for somebody after they passed away. And I had to sit up there and soak it in and say, we're getting an award when I can still smell the flowers.
Wow.
And I'm using that award not as a moment of completion, but I'm using it as a Gatorade break to rehydrate me, to push me forward, to say, what am I going to do in the next 10 years that'll make the first 10 years look small? Because not everybody's congratulatory about the award. Not everybody thinks we deserve it. We didn't ask for it. We didn't apply for it. We didn't call them up and say, hey, we would like an award. But what I want is the next 10 years, when you see what we do in the next 10, you're going to say, man, they saw early what we missed.
Yeah.
Right? What you didn't see in us, somebody else saw early. And it's not that we didn't deserve it. You just weren't looking and you didn't know the work we did, because most of the stuff we're doing for this nonprofit is not publicized anywhere. New England knows because they're working with us. So they're seeing the work that we're doing. The other schools and the other industry people that might think we don't deserve it, because we're not doing it in the light. We're doing the work in the darkness. So if you're not doing the work with me, you wouldn't know what we're doing, which is why they don't think we deserve it. And I'm okay with that, because we never did it for the award. Because if I do it to help the students get into school, when the students tell me thank you, and we get the notes and the emails and the text messages from the students saying, you've changed my life, you changed my family's life. I was working at Starbucks and now I'm in optometry school. When we get those things and they say, now I'm about to graduate as a doctor and you've helped me along the way, that's why I did it. So I don't need to do it in the light, because I didn't do it for you. I'm doing it for the kids. So if I'm doing it for the kids, why do I care if you know what I'm doing?
Wow.
It doesn't matter for you, because it wasn't for you.
Wow. And I'm taking it based on what I've seen on social media over the years, with the approach to patient care that you have, that when it comes to your practice, you operate on the same basis in terms of your patient. I've gotten the sense from what I've researched about you over the years that whatever equipment that's out there, whatever technology that's out there, whatever advanced management solutions that are out there, you are going to go out of your way to go get access to those things so that you can give your patients the very best. How important is patient care for you that enables you, or what kind of patient care approach do you do that enables your practice then to still operate at the high level that you do as Dr. Adam Ramsey on your individual level?
So another good question, man. You're doing a real good one. You should be on 60 Minutes or CBS or something with all these questions you got. I went to Italy last month to try and find things that I could not find in the US. I've been going to all the US conferences, and I said, this year, I'm going to expand my horizon and I'm going to go overseas. 14-hour flight, my first time getting a 14-hour flight. So maybe I can make it to South Africa now that I've
2020.
I've flown that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a little longer than 14 though, so I gotta work my way up. I never want a patient to come to my office and feel like they're getting second-class service. I want to deliver a level of care that makes it so that when my patients leave and go overseas or go back to Europe, they make a flight to my office to come see me once a year. I have patients that fly to Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, once a year to get their eye exam with me, because when they go home to the UK, or when they go to California or Canada or wherever, they don't feel like they get the level of service that they get in my office.
Wow.
I want to make my service and my care so good that if I'm out of the office for 4 days in Jamaica, you wait for me when I get back.
Wow.
Because you say, I'd rather move my appointment because it's that good. And I want to deliver the level of care that I expect from myself. I use the machines that I would want done on me. And a lot of doctors deliver care to their patients below the level of care they would want for their own eyeballs. If it was your eye, how many tests would you want done on you? What's too many tests to be ran when it's your own eye, when it's your mama eye, when it's your dad's eye, when it's your grandmother's eye?
Absolutely.
If it was your child, what would you want done for them? And not everybody looks at the level of care they give that way. And I constantly are trying to reinvent how I deliver care and service, because I set a high standard for myself and I set a high bar for the level of care and service that I give to others. And I hold myself accountable if we drop the ball or if we don't do it. My staff knows if I realize we dropped the ball, I'm going to be very upset, and I'm holding everybody accountable. But I don't hold anybody more accountable than I hold myself. That's just me, man. I really go, and my practice and my business has never been the same. If you come to my office year 1 and year 6 now, if you came every year, you would have seen I've improved and done something different. So I would look at year 6, Adam, and say year 1 was terrible, because I see what we deliver now, and year 1 was not good. But the only way to make 100 steps is to start with 1. So I can't change the past, but I know tomorrow I can be a better person, a better doctor, a better father, a better husband tomorrow than I was yesterday. And that's what I constantly try to do, is improve myself day to day. You know, and I'm going to end with this one here. A lot of times we set goals for ourselves. And the hard part about a goal is you live your life unhappy all the way up until the day you accomplish that goal. Because the only thing that was important was the goal.
Yeah.
Right? But if I say there's an end point to this, but my goal is to be better today than yesterday, then I can be happy every day while I'm getting better, even if I haven't reached some figment of my imagination end goal. But if I say my purpose was to be better today than yesterday, I can live in a state of happiness and completeness and contentment if my only objective was to be better today than yesterday. Wow. But if my only objective is to be rich, or to retire, or to be married, or to have a kid, and that's the only objective, then everything before that is a state of unhappiness. Yeah. But if I just want to be better today than yesterday, I can live differently and I can be happier along the way as I'm improving and making myself better.
Can you please start your podcast channel now, so that when I'm driving, I just listen to you the whole day, because this was powerful stuff. Where can people connect with you, Dr. Ramsey?
You can go on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Dr. Adam Ramsey. It's all available there, dradamramsey.com. If you want to find me, you can find me. If you can't find me, you weren't trying.
Thank you so much. Everyone, this was yet another fantastic masterclass series episode with the legend himself. This is one of my favorite people. I can't wait for us to connect in person, man. I really can't wait for that. I love you, man. I wish you all the best for the remainder of the year. Please continue doing and being the person that you are. You are absolutely incredible. And enjoy Jamaica, man. It's going to be a powerful trip. And I can't wait for us to connect very soon again. Everyone, make sure you subscribe to the Vision Straight social media platforms, and do subscribe as well to the YouTube channel. Until the next episode, stay tuned. God bless everyone.
Thanks, man.